Alright everybody, I've been looking at the YouTube channel the other night, was looking at the YouTube channel and realized I had not done a proper update in almost 6 months. Now, I cannot find any justification for such a deplorable lapse of communication and just online activity on my part, so I will not try to justify it anyway, other than to say it is not for absence of things going on here. Plenty of stuff has been happening. Just for some reason or the other, I was not making videos about it or updating the channel or whatever. So, yesterday I actually did a video that was kind of long-winded, rambling, and wandering. That was sort of an update about things around here. And you can go look at that one if you want. But this one I'm going to try to do real quick, succinct, and hit all the major points of stuff that's happened over the last 5.5 months or so. So we'll see how well that goes. So this is real quick, the last 5.5 months in review. So with no further ado, here we go. Big deal number one is the Vanya. Last year we were taking baths in our yurts, sitting in a little zinc bathtub in front of our wood stoves. And now we have the Vanya. The Vanya is a Russian bathhouse. It's got laundry facilities, washing facilities, and a steam room. And we're using that, so that is really, really cool. If you want the in-depth scoop on the Vanya, you can take a look at my other video that I did yesterday. That's long and rambling, but this one's gonna be quick and succinct. So that's it, Vanya. The next big thing that we did was buy these 2 new red horses that you see off there to the right. Last year, when we first started the Next Step project, we bought this black horse and this white horse right here. But as it turns out, I am not a very good horse buyer. The black horse turned out to be rather wild, and the white horse turned out to be very, very old. Not a very good working setup. We ended up selling our family minivan to do this because we'd already used up our money that had been earmarked for horses. So I sold that and bought these 2 new workhorses. They've been really good. We've been using them this year to put up firewood, bring out firewood, clear roads, haul hay, kind of do all that work. So hopefully come summer, they will be useful for us for work. You might ask, why, Justice, are you using horses? Why not just be like normal and get a tractor? And I sometimes ask myself that same question. Like, why can't I just be normal and get a tractor? Well, I guess the main reason is that we're trying to set up a model that's duplicatable. And what that means, being inexpensive. Farming is capital intense on the setup. And if you can save, 50-60% on your traction power by using horses as opposed to using tractors, and also, down the road, horses are hour per hour less expensive to run than the same kind of horsepowerage as a tractor. Like a pair of good working horses can give you about what a 25-35 horsepower tractor can give you. At least on paper, that's what it looks like. So we're trying to show that, prove that concept either way, so that if that's some way that we can help people in the future set up their farm operations less expensively, then great. All right, I'll confess too, I just like horses. I mean, that's also part of it. I can't pretend that that's not part of it. I just like the horses. In all seriousness, it has to make sense. It has to economically make sense as part of the model. So that's what we're trying to prove. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it doesn't, we sell the 4 horses and horse equipment and get a tractor. So we'll see. Next big thing that we got done was set up power. So we have these solar panels set up and in that energy house right there. And so we set up this whole power system and ran several hundred yards of wire all over the property. So all the buildings are now have power to them, and that is really great. These solar panels and the inverter setup were donated to us by a guy who wants us to do advertising for his Chinese imported solar panel business later on. So that was a huge blessing. The next thing is that we had a big old excavator come in here, and you can't really see it very well, but dig trenches all the way from down there by the stream, all the way up to the very top of the homestead site. And in that trench, it's already been buried here, at least this section has, not that section, is a water line coming up from a kind of a spot that we're developing down there by the creek to be a well spring, like a sandy point spot. Pump water up from there to the milk parlor, the milk kitchen, the pavilion, and the barn, which is up the hill right up there. So in that trench we have power and water so that it can run throughout the year without freezing. So that's the idea. While the excavator is here, it excavated this big spot for this barn. So this barn is going to be 34 by 68 feet. Pretty big barn. So it's going to be a semi underground, so the earth will go over the whole top, and the two ends where these gates are, it's a completely drive-through barn. So this spot will be open and you can go drive through it, unload feed, load up manure, all that kind of stuff, and drive out the other end. So we'll have our 100 sheep over here, and our 60 milking goats over there, and our horses. And this facility kind of is what makes the farm work, you know, where all the animals are going to be. We'll have a milking room in here as well. So again, the financial goals for this project is for it to support my family and three other full-time workers. So we'll have as many as 4 families living here on the farm at any given time. And that provides a foundation, a base of operations to reach out to minister to the villages that surround us in this area. So that is the plan. As you can see, still needs to do a lot of work. We ran out of material, so then of rafter beams to put across. But now we've got everything, so we're going to start finishing up this barn so we can buy animals come spring. So, if you want to volunteer and help us out by coming and help building a barn or whatever, we'd love to have you. Drop me a line. Also, while the excavator was here, we got this spot excavated out for the milk parlor. I call it the milk parlor, but I think that's a wrong term. We'll call it the milk kitchen from now on, which will actually have 2 full-sized commercial kitchens downstairs, one for milk, one for meat. And then upstairs will be an apartment, kind of like a loft apartment, where Rebecca and I and the girls will live. That'll be our house. And then we'll have an apartment above the Vanya for a family or for somebody to live. The bunkhouse down there, you can see the green roof, and then the yurt village. So plenty of space for people to stay, work, learn, and then of course reach out from here. Our milk kitchen, as you might have noticed, is built not on a cement foundation, but on these wooden pillars. That has to do with Russian law as to how you use agricultural land. But so just trying to find some workarounds to be able to do everything that we need to do. All right, so we're almost back to the yurts, and this video is almost over. So I just want to show a few more things real quick before we call it quits for the day. Another big job we did was put in a bunch of firewood for the year. Of course, with the yurts and the Vanya and the bunkhouse and the facilities here, we have to have quite a bit of firewood. So didn't get a woodshed built, but plenty of firewood for windfall. We use the horses to bring it down. So that was a big project. Also took us a couple of weeks, or well, actually like 10 days. So that was good. And we've still got quite a bit on a deck, logging deck up in the woods that we need to bring down. So that is that. I've also been making a huge progress in my recovery from my encephalitis and Lyme's disease. So thank you all so much for your prayers, for people sending me, bringing supplements over and sending things in the mail to help with that. It's been a huge help. So I've gone from earlier this fall not being able to do hardly anything without just dry heaving and falling down into a mess, to now working pretty much every single day, full half days of work plus doing office work and lessons with the girls in the morning. So just huge progress. Hopefully by this spring, this summer, I'll be back to 100%, Lord willing. So thanks so much again for your prayers and support of us during this time that I've been recovering from that encephalitis. Another big thing that we've been doing is that we have actually through this whole time been keeping up pretty steadily on putting out content on the Russian YouTube channel chronicling this project. And that's a really big part of this particular phase, is to have good hard data and kind of a chronicle that people can follow in their own paths in the future. So people want to use this farm as a model, or kind of our ideas at least as a model for emulation. They can do that easier by following our YouTube channel and all of the information we put out there. So we've been actually doing a pretty good job of chronicling this project. At least one video a week, sometimes 2, 3, sometimes more videos, blog posts, making sure that we have that record that we can later compile into a information product that can be used to help people start their own farms. A huge blessing has been that several volunteers who came through our YouTube channel, through our Russian Facebook VK page, came to volunteer with us this summer. Several of them have accepted the Lord and have actually gotten back a hold of us after they've left and gone back home and shared with us their commitment to stay in the faith and get connected to a church. So even though we've been really focused this last year on building the farm and haven't been doing much overt outreach to the surrounding villages yet, we still share the gospel whenever we can, and the Lord does add to the church. Maybe not this particular church here, but the church universal. So praise the Lord. Praise the Lord for that. So all in all, just in a quick nutshell, that's what we've been up to for the last 5 months. In addition to that, of course, I've done several conferences, 3 or 4 in the last 5 months, and this next winter also have some speaking to do. So keep that in your prayers, that God would always give me the right things to say at these conferences, and help motivate people towards the kingdom. So again, thank you so much for your prayers, and I commit right here to doing more of these videos more regularly, hopefully get them out at least once a week. I've got some ideas about a few things, so stay tuned. If you haven't yet, subscribe so that you get the notifications when the new videos come out, and God bless.